Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken vowed on Tuesday that Washington would work with partners in the region to maintain pressure on the government of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro for a peaceful return to democracy. In pre-recorded remarks to a conference on Latin America, Blinken also said the Biden administration would continue criticism on the repression of human rights in Cuba. Blinken's stern word came just a day after a senior White House official made clear in an interview with Reuters that the administration was in no rush to ease sanctions on Maduro's socialist government or make major gestures towards communist-ruled Havana. The administration is reviewing crippling sanctions imposed on the OPEC nation by Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump, as well as Trump's rollback of Obama-era détente with Cuba. Blinken also urged countries to press Haiti to organize free elections by year-end and for Nicaragua to make electoral reforms to ensure a free vote in November. In Colombia, a number of police stations have been attacked in the Colombian capital Bogota as widespread protests run into a second week. Mayor Claudio Lopez requested the help of the army to guard the stations, calling the violence inadmissible. Fresh nationwide demonstrations are expected later on Wednesday. There have been at least 19 confirmed deaths since the protests started, and the UN has urged the security forces to refrain from using firearms. Colombia's ombudsman said on Tuesday that 18 of those killed were civilians and one was a police officer. The demonstrations started on April 28 and were initially in opposition to the tax reform that the government said was key to mitigating the country's economic crisis. President Ivan Duque said the government was ready for national dialogue and announced the creation of a, I quote, space to listen to citizens and construct solutions, end of quote. It is not the first time the anti-government protests have turned deadly in Colombia. WHO experts have voiced, I quote, very low confidence, end of quote, in data provided by Chinese state-owned drug maker Sinopharm on its COVID-19 vaccine regarding the risk of serious side effects in some patients, but overall confidence in its ability to prevent the disease, a document seen by Reuters shows. A World Health Organization spokesman said that the document on Sinopharm vaccine BBI-BP-CoV was one of the many resources on which recommendations are made, tentatively scheduled to be issued later this week. The document includes summaries of data from clinical trials in China, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, and United Arab Emirates. The document stated, I quote, we are very confident that 2 doses of BBI-BP-CoV are efficacious in preventing PCR-confirmed COVID-19 in adults 18 to 59 years, end of quote. Additionally, the statement added, I quote, analysis of safety amongst participants with comorbidities was limited by the low numbers of participants with comorbidities other than obesity in the phase 3 trial, end of quote. And finally, Canada has authorized the use of the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine for children between the ages of 12 and 15. It is the first country in the world to authorize the use of the vaccine for people that age. The country's health ministry made the ruling based on data from phase 3 clinical trials on children that age. I quote, the department determined that this vaccine is safe and effective when used in this younger age group, end of quote, a senior advisor at the ministry said. Last March, Pfizer said trials of its vaccine in children aged 12 to 15 showed 100% efficacy and a strong immune response. Children's risk of becoming very ill or dying with COVID-19 is tiny, and throughout the pandemic, they have very rarely needed hospital treatment. That was all for tonight's original news. Thank you for joining.